Hello, 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 and welcome to a fresh start. I'm Shauna Grace, and I am just excited to be here in another session with you to talk about your fresh start. In a lot of ways, our fresh start. I am a certified life coach and I am a believer. I also have a doctorate in counseling and I don't come as an expert, I just come to share some experiences and some perspectives that if you're going through things I've been through or maybe going through, that you can gain a different vision of getting through it. Okay? Listen, I hope you have your mug. Mine says every day is a fresh start. But even if you don't have one that says that, I hope it said maybe you got one that says something beautiful. And if it says absolutely nothing, I just hope you have your favorite beverage in it and we are able to share this time together. We've been talking this week about have you met? I left off yesterday talking about have you met you? We meet a lot of people. When you're born, you meet the doctor, the nurses, and then you meet your parents and or a parent, whichever way that might go. Uh, it's just you meet more nurses and you meet more family, and as you grow up, you're meeting neighborhood, your community, neighborhood people. You go to school, you're meeting classmates. I mean, the list goes on. But in all of that meet and greet, did you ever meet you? Did you ever meet you? When you think about a fresh start, you think about newness, something you've never done before, something no place you've never gone before, nothing you've never worn before, and the list goes on. Well, how about somebody you've never met before? Being yourself. How about that? You ever thought about that? You don't hear much teaching about meeting you because people are busy trying to get you to meet teachers and uh, coaches and uh, politicians and I mean it just the list just goes on. Everybody's trying to get you to meet somebody, but have you ever had anybody to ask you, have you met yourself? Have you met your yourself? Do you not know out of all the people you meet, you are the most interesting person that there is? Did you know that? Did you know that? You are the most interesting person that you could meet. You say, well, Shauna Grace, why you say that? Because you stay with you more than you stay with anybody else. And there's so much to dig down inside and pull out that you haven't even scratched the surface yet. Because you know why? We're so busy pulling out of everybody else. We're so busy making everybody else see what's in them. And what about what's in you? What about what's in you? Hmm? See, here's what I need you to understand. We talked about choices. We opened up talking about choices. We closed out about you meeting you because that is a choice. That is a choice. When you make the choice to meet you, it causes you to, how do I want to say this? It causes you to take your attention off of what everybody else is doing and how everybody else is and what everybody else likes and what everybody else doesn't like and how everybody else is changing to become more of who is on the inside and start focusing on you in those very same ways. Very same ways. You understand what I'm saying? Once you understand that, once you understand that part right there, honey, once you understand that part right there, you will start getting more and more excited about, let me meet me. Let me see who this is that my Heavenly Father, Creator, Jehovah, Most High, I call him Daddy. Whatever your relationship is with him, let me see who he created. Let me see what else has he put down in here. Because, see, we have grown up with our attention on everybody else. You may meet 0.5% of people who really have learned how to meet themselves, who were even taught before you meet anybody else, meet yourself. That's why you see people who they just supporting and they just motivating everybody else. And then you get with them and you're like, okay, so let me see if I got this right. You are there for everybody else, but you didn't take time to be there for yourself. How is that? You get what I'm saying? You have to understand, folks. This is what you have to understand. You have to understand that you have the option, the choice to meet you. You know how people make you an option? Anybody had that experience? I have. Oh, have I? You an option. You never was a priority. Maybe it's time you make them an option and make you a priority. They call you Johnny on the spot, Janie on the spot. But when you need you don't show up. You've taught yourself that you are not that important because nobody, and I want to be transparent here. I made this statement. I did. I made this statement. And you know what the statement was? Nobody ever made me feel like I was important. I want you to just let that soak right there for a minute because I'm getting ready to hit a home run with this. I would tell folk when they would start talking about me, doing for myself and how important I was, and I even my children would ask me, Mom, why don't you ever think you're that important? I said I didn't grow up. Nobody never made me feel I was important. There was favoritism when it came to me. Everybody else got the top pick. I was just the leftover. And guess what? Do you know I never thought about, well, why haven't I picked myself? Anytime I made that statement, I never stopped and thought about. That's why I'm up here and I come and I share these times, because we don't think about, why haven't I? Why didn't I choose me? Why haven't I? And do you not know you can wind up talking that over and over and over and over? You can talk that, never thinking about, I'm at the age now, nobody has to make me think I'm important. Nobody has to make me think I'm worth it. I'm old enough now to think that for myself. In your 20s, okay? In your 20s, you can come to that realization. Why am I still singing that song when I now can make my own self a priority? I don't have to wait for nobody to make me feel important or to tell me that I'm top choice. I can do that for myself. I hope this is helping, and I believe it is, because I can feel this myself. You don't have to wait for nobody to make you feel important. You know why? When you choose you, you make your own self feel important. Yeah, you make your own self feel important. Mm-hmm. You make your own self feel important. Whew. And you know, that's the most liberating feeling. You've heard me talk about, and I didn't put it in the phrase when I met me, but that's what's been going on for some time now. I'm, and you know what? You will never stop meeting versions of you. You'll never stop meeting all that daddy blew down inside of you when you were when he made you as a man, and when he already had you made as a woman inside that man. He blew all of himself. The scripture in Genesis says, and he blew the breath of life, because that's what he is. He's life. And you have not met all of your who you are in your life. And what I mean by that is, no, I am not talking about schizophrenic. No, I'm not. I'm talking about, you started off as a baby. You're not a baby now. You transitioned into a toddler. Then you transitioned into uh, a little child. Then you transitioned into adolescence. Then you transitioned into young adulthood. excuse me, then you transitioned into more adulthood. And now, if you're like me, you're transitioning into seniorhood. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You see all of that? All of that was in here. It was not shown at birth. God have mercy. It was not shown at birth. It was not shown at birth. It wasn't. You know what it was shown as? It was shown as life went on. Who you were in here, versions of you began to manifest, appear, if you want to break it all the way down. Get what I'm saying? Oh, awesome. Awesome. You understand? So what am I saying? I'm saying to you, meet you. Meet you. Even if you want to sit down with a notebook, title it what you want to title it. Maybe you might want to title it Who I've Been in My Life's Journey. Start from a baby. Now, you didn't know nothing about those years. You didn't. Scientists even tell you that a child doesn't remember past 4, before the age of 4, in other words. Beyond before. Yeah, before 4. But from 4 up, and I know it to be true because something traumatic happened to my youngest child. And when they told me they remembered, I mean, they were very detailed at 4. I said, so, scientists were right. From birth to 4, you probably have no recollection. But from 4 up, write it down. Now, if you remember your parents telling you things from 0 to 4, write that down and just say, okay, this is what I was told I was and how I acted at this stage and at this stage and at this stage. But from 4 up, whatever you remember, write it down. And just look at the versions that have manifested up until this present time. Meet you. And that should inspire you, okay? That should really inspire you, okay? That should inspire you to say, well, okay, now if all of that came out, I wonder what else is in here. And talk to daddy and say, okay, I really hadn't paid attention, but look at all of this that has come out. There's some more. There's some more. You see what I'm saying? And be encouraged to meet some more of you. You're meeting some more of your BFFs. Every time y'all go out, You're meeting some more of them. They're talking about how they're changing doing this and they're changing doing that. Or you all go somewhere and you notice, okay, they don't normally do that. How about meet some more of you? Those ideas, those, I've noticed now, Daddy works with everybody in a different way. I noticed the way he works with me, if he keeps knocking, and when I say knocking, something just continues to stay on my mind, just continues to stay on my mind, just continues to stay on my mind. I know he wants me to deal with that. He wants me to look into that. You see what I'm saying? He wants that. He wants that. And what I have to do is get busy looking into it, researching, seeing, okay, da 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 da. Okay. Now, and you'll find out one thing you will find out, you won't have as much time to be nosy in other people's business and what they're doing, because what you're doing is so interesting. Oh my goodness. What you're doing is so interesting. Okay. It's so interesting. I want you to meet you. Let that be a fresh start that has 150-watt beam in your eye. Meet you. I don't mean say, well, I don't have to meet me. I live with me. Meet you. Go to who made you, who created you, your creator, and say, show me all you blew into me when you blew the breath of life coming out of you into me. Show me. I want to see all of who I am. I don't know if any of, well, I would think a lot of people do know a man named Dr. Miles Monroe. He's deceased now. But he said before he ever got to his last mile of the way, which nobody knew that's what he was traveling at that time. He died in a plane crash. Him, his wife, his assistants. It was just shocking when we heard it. Okay. But you know what he said? He asked the Lord, don't let him die until he's empty. I think is how he said it. And he looked at his audience and said, I can tell you when I'm going to die. He said, I'm going to die when I'm totally empty, when everything that is in me has been accomplished. He said, then I'm leaving. When I heard that this plane had crashed, and it was his charter plane, if I'm not mistaken, when I heard it had crashed and there were no survivors, and him and his wife and others was up there, you know what I said? He was empty. Don't you want to be empty when you die? Don't you? Don't you want to be empty when you pass? When you're laying out and you no longer can move, talk, look, see nothing. C, whatever. You have no more life and you in a box. Don't you want to know that every version of who you were was manifested and you can leave now? Can you imagine that kind of exit? Woo! That's just, oh my gosh. That's a testimony there. That's a testimony. It is. So that's I just want you to know. Meet you. I just want you to know that there's more inside of you than you just being a person. Excuse me. I was talking to my brother. We lost my sister-in-law. And he got on my mind. Heavy. I said, okay, we need to talk. And so we met for an afternoon meal. And I looked at him, I said, who are you? I think he was eating soup and his eyes kind of went like that. I said, who are you? Now. I said, you're not a husband anymore. I said, you are a parent, but you're not a parent with children at the house. You are a grandparent, but not with grandchildren at the house. He's a leading example in his community. He has a ministry. He has a business, all of that. Okay. But here's the thing. I said, who are you now? I said, you gotta go back to the drawing board, because there's nobody in your world now up close now that Sister Love is resting but you. I said, so who are you now? He gave a little chuckle. He said, He said, sis, you got me thinking now. I said, yeah. I said, because I had to answer that question and I didn't know how. And I'm assuming you at the same point. He said, yeah, I am. I said, but I want you to start this journey. Find out who you are now. Who you are now. Not you as a leader, not you as a husband, because you're not that now. Not you as a parent, because they have their own lives. But who are you now? Because he's in the same predicament I was in when it happened to me. Had never been alone. And that was the eeriest place. Alone. It really, really was alone. Alone. So I told him, now you have to meet you. You have to meet you. If you've never been alone, you've never met you. And I can say that from experience. When everybody passed and I was left on the Isle of Patmos like John by myself, yeah. That's when I met me. And I want you to do the same thing. And we're going to talk some more about this tomorrow. I just want you to meditate on It's time for you to meet you. Join me here tomorrow and we'll close out with that, okay?